Hello everyone, and welcome back to Misfits Racing League Action. My name is Strifium, and we are here for Round 5 Italian Grand Prix. Well, I'd like to say festivities, but we don't know if it'll be festivities. We'll have to see, of course. Joining me, as always, Seb, how are you doing today?
Good, thanks. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all the viewers that we have so far. Came for this one, Temple of Speed.
That's right, Italy. I am very partial to this circuit, personally. Love it very, very much. Let's take a look. It is, well, it's a quick circuit. It is 11 turns, and, well, that 11th turn being the Parabolica, of course, and it's got a lot of straight speed here. You know, they say it's the Temple of Speed for a reason, and it's because these drivers are doing flat out speeds at, well, I think it's for something around 80% of the circuit. So it's a lot of fun to drive, I imagine. A little less fun to race wheel to wheel with people, of course. Let's take a look at the calendar. We are here for round 5 for the Oceanic grid. Of course, the Italian Grand Prix, we are looking at the Thursday calendar of races. We have the Tier 2 and Tier 1 action up later this evening for those in the UK. Of course, we have Singapore next week, Russia, Japan, the US, Mexico, Brazil, Abu Dhabi, all still to come this season, and that is going to be a very, very intense round of racing around all those circuits, I imagine. Let's take a look at who is on the grid today. We have Apollo, Pepsi, and Big Impulse over at Mercedes, Stars and Trin for Ferrari, Mikau and Red Panda over at Red Bull, Rez and Yukio for McLaren combined, and Ruben for Renault. That's Wangod and Psycho at AlphaTauri, with Zaino and Ben the Bear for Racing Point. Revo leading the current championship, Shrimp over at Alfa Romeo, Big Al and Gazieg for Haas, with Simdaga and T-Mac bringing out the rear of the rest of this grid, not necessarily the rear of it, but the final 20 drivers there on this grid for Williams. With all that, let's take a look at the standings. The standings right now, Revo currently leading the championship with 101 points, the Alfa Romeo Esports drivers. So that is quite nice. Ben the Bear there, 58 points. Big Al, 47. That's your top three. You have the Alfa Romeo, Red Bull, and the, I believe, Racing Point, your top three in the constructors at the moment. So that's always nice. And we have a few position changes, but mainly the stewards telling everyone to have a good race this week in Monza. So with all that being said, Seb, I do believe we are ready to go racing here. I'm just waiting on everybody to get things readied up in the lobby, but we're all set. And yeah, it's been a very, very tight championship so far, at the very least in the races. The points are reflecting something different, but we know the races have been quite tight, and Revo has had his work cut out in Ben the Bear, trying to push him quite hard last week in Belgium.
Indeed. Just a reminder, we had that 3 wide into Lacombe. That was a hairs in the back of your neck type of moment at Spa. A very good fight all season long. So you're going to have to bear with me as my game has a bit of a crash. Try and get back into the lobby orderly fashion. But yeah, as I was saying, Ben and Revo have been going at it, with Revo more than often than not getting the upper hand in that battle. So very interesting to see what happens today. Looking at around low 18 times for qualifying, maybe high 17s. I doubt we'll get high 17s though. And the strategy, of course, is a soft to medium, with pit stops around lap 10, 11, and 12 ideally.
Yeah, you can get away with running on a one-stop here in Monza. Just waiting on Mr. Seb to get himself back into the session here. And then once he is, we will be able to get going racing. What's the issue there, Seb?
Game's crashed on me, and it's not allowing me to get back into the game, which is great. So I've told moderator Mick out just to get this show on the road. I'll just go off the stream for now.
Well, I've sent you a few invites there. I'll be able to send you any after this now. So hopefully those do what they need to do for you. And we are going to be jumping in now. "20 drivers on this grid for Italy. Very excited. We have some reserves here as well. So we'll go down through those in just a moment's time. Waiting on 2 drivers to load in here, Ruben and Nigel. Fairly sure for them. Everybody now loading in. Okay. Into the session we go here. 18 minutes of qualifying. Sun in the sky. Doesn't look like we're going to have any rain at the moment. Take a look. Gauzy on this grid. Impulse, Yukio, Apollo Pepsi. We have combined, as well as Panda, Ben the Bear, Potsy, Ruben. Domi is here in a reserve capacity. He's over at Alfa Romeo with Revo today. So Shrimp is not here. Freeware, Nigel, both here today in reserve capacities. Maz in a reserve capacity as well. Mikau's here. T-Mac, Zaino, Trin. Alex Biddo in the McLaren here in a reserve capacity, as well as Big Al there in the Haas, who's been having a good season. First driver out of the pit lane is Revo.
Sorry about that. Weather report is just in, not a cloud inside for both quali and race. So, gonna have some nice Italian weather for us. Dry race.
Lovely.
Gonna see a lot of, gonna see some nice DRS trains forming up, I reckon. Especially in that midfield, possibly between Ben the Bear and Revo, just tussling away at it.
Well, Revo is going to be one of the first drivers to set a lap here, as he was the first out of the pit lane in that Alfa Romeo. Coming through Ascari now. This is going to be one of the most difficult sections of circuit for these racers, that Ascari chicane, where I've seen many drivers lose it.
Yeah, indeed, very easy to lose it on turn 10, which is the second left-hander of Ascari. Especially that inside curve, you can very easily unsettle the rear end of the car and just cause yourself to lose control of it.
Revo now on the flyer, heading down into this long run into turn 1 and 2. This is the first chicane of the circuit. We got a couple of these chicanes here around Monza. We come out of turn 2, heading down through, of course, the iconic Curva Grande now. This beautiful long right stretch. Coming into the second chicane now. Purple sector 1, of course, the first lap to be set here, utilizing both the inside curbs on entry and exit. Coming down through the first Lesmo.
Decent first sector time. You're aiming for about 26 second sectors for each sector around here.
That was a very clean turn 1. Lesmos were looking quite clean as well. Rear wing open now on the long DRS straight as we head down into, of course, Ascari. This is where things can make it or break it. Very clean through there.
Just a bit wide in turn 8. The first left-hander of the Ascari. That'll cost him about a tenth or two. Won't be happy with that, Revo, the perfectionist that he is.
I'm going to be to the line now. It's a 1:17.748, the first time set here in the Oceanic Division. And that's a very fast time.
As I said, turn 10, we've got our first victim. That's Trin.
Yep. Trin in the Ferrari. His teammate Moz for this occasion is going to see him first on the left-hand side as we exit out of the Ascari chicane. And Revo means business real early here with that blistering time. Then the Bear gets his first run in on the mediums, a 1:19.356. That actually sets him into P5.
Interesting to see why he's on the medium so early on. Might be falling on for trying to save one of those soft sets for later on in the night, or I guess, yeah, well, night for him as well, because he's in Thailand, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Ben,
Just
something I've seen from him regularly is always getting that first lap out on kind of as a bit of a practice run.
It's the same thing for combined as well. You just go down those medium tyres, relatively neat through 4 and 5, but not necessarily fast. Didn't have the optimal line, but like you said before, this is kind of a warm-up run for these two, just on the mediums. Get a feel for the car, get a feel for the setup, find some form, find some rhythm.
A lot of drivers on their way into the pit lane now to get onto some fresh rubber. Not too many drivers out on circuit right now. Oz crossing the line. 7th quickest here, a 1:19.852 for combined. It's going to be good enough for P9. It's a 1:20.559 on the medium compound tires. Gazier, 1:20.689, crossing that line. Ruben's invalidated here. He's kind of on his way into the pit lane. He's just coming out of Parabolica.
Let's look at the gap from Revo to Panda. It's a good 1 second from the best driver to one of the leaders of the midfield.
Revo looking like he's in a class of his own at the moment. We'll see what he's able to do as he's on an outlap, looking to perhaps improve on that time as well. And the Bear in the pit lane right now has fitted the soft compound tires. We'll have to wait for him to jump out to go for a run.
I'm going to try and time this rejoin in about 5 minutes when nobody's on track, so...
Alex Bideau validates his lap coming out of the Parabolica.
Oh, yeah. You don't need to go that wide in the Parabolica. You normally want to try and avoid the AstroTech. That just makes you lose a bit of time on traction over the corner.
Yukio, his teammate, jumping into 7th position there. Neat lap time from him, a 1:19.758 in the other McLaren, so we'll have to see what Alex is able to do when he gets a time in. Freeware not actively flying. He's had an issue. His front left wing is in massively bad shape. I'm trying to find my words at 7:30 in the morning here. Forgive me. I see you've joined us though in the session. Some better real-time updates, and there's been a retirement. That was Freeware on the way into the pit lane.
Whoa.
I just saw a tire bounce, and there goes a Racing Point having to avoid. That was a Zaino, I believe. No, that was actually Ben, who had to avoid Freeware beginning his flying lap. Freeware flying into the pit lane, lost his front left tire, so he's not going to be too thrilled about that. And Ben the Bear isn't going to be even remotely happy that he had to avoid that car. starting his flyer. And the bear coming down the straight into Ascari now. We'll have to see what he's able to do here on these soft compound tires. Half a second up through Ascari. Line now, Ben the Bear. What's the time going to be? It's good enough for P2, but it's not good enough to get into the 117s yet here, Seb. It's a 118.239 for the front row driver now.
Revo 17.4. My goodness. There's like, we're having three packs kind of form up here. I'll turn my game noise down. You got Revo, then you got Ben the Bear, then you have the rest of the
Yeah, you're
field
getting
from
bad
MRL.
echo from your headset there or whatever you're using. I don't know what was going on there on your audio.
Turn off the audio.
There we go.
Turn off the audio. Sorry about it. Just a note on Freeway, he said he went into the pause menu and the AI wanted to go back on track, so...
Yeah, that's really unfortunate. I wouldn't trust AI to do anything for me in this game.
Neither would I.
Alex Bitto crossed his third quickest here. He finally gets a time in. 118.6 the time here.
Decent time as well. T-Max done a decent first sector of 26.1, but he also invalidated in turn 4 and 5, so he's not going to be too happy with that.
Nigel's just begun a flyer in the Williams. No time set from him. We're still waiting on 3 drivers that are active in this session to set times. That's Ruben, Nigel, and Mikau. Mikau actively on an outlap. Ruben still in the pit lane. We still have 7.5 minutes remaining here as Nigel exits out through into the Curva Grande now. Bit of a slide coming out of that second chicane.
He's really twitchy on the rear end. It's a very serious setup he must have, but see if it'll pay off. Coming down to sector 2. Yeah. Just watching on ball with him, it's almost like it's just you can tell from the inputs he doesn't have to put in a lot of steering lock just to get that car rotated around, so he's got a very oversteery setup. Carefully pressing the steering input throughout Parabolica. 18.5 is a good lap.
Down now. A driver who I've seen drive through Monza a couple of times. I think he was fighting you here, if I'm not mistaken. I don't remember if that's correct or not, but I've also seen him crash through Ascari and MRL. So we'll have to see how Italy treats him today.
Not the most optimal line through 4 and 5, but he'll get away with it. Left about a 10th on the board. Coming through the Lesmos. Just about as neat, get down to 5th gear, clip the inside. Be careful of oversteer on the exit. Nice. Open DRS, keep left, keep it tight. Let this flow down to Ascari. 52.2, that's pretty decent. Take a lot of the inside curb and cut it just a little because you're allowed to keep one wheel on the track minimum and you won't get penalised for that. And just prepare yourself. It's a late braking and relatively late turn-in. This inside apex kind of comes at you. As you can see, it just pops out a little. And just avoid that outside AstroTurf as mentioned and keep it tight to the right for a minimal track distance. Pretty good job there. Big Al's up in 4th as well. 118.54 for him. Mikkel's whole 400s off of him.
Well, there's less than a 10th separating drivers in 3rd through 5th at the moment. Actually, Alex Biddo's in on that as well.
Looks like we're gonna have a couple of very tight paths. We got, as you mentioned, Nigel to Biddo, and we also have Potsy to Pepsi, Domi and Moz maybe, and Impulse as well. So we're just getting some little packs forming up in qualifying and the timing shit.
Yeah, the midfield's bunched up quite well here. Quite consistent and close in pace. Domi now in that Alfa Romeo. I've seen him fly around here quite a few times. He's been putting a lot of time in here as he's currently leading the Tier 2 championship. He'll be driving that later this evening, but he's here in a reserve capacity in the Alpha now, partnering Revo. Half a second up now coming out of Sector 2 through into Ascari.
The 10th off of Mikau's Sector 2 time, Sector 2 split, sorry. Now, did you have the nerve to brake late and just try and turn as late as possible for this corner? Wind it up. He's done a pretty good job, I'll tell you that much, Striff. Keep it close to the inside. How's it going to turn out? It's a good time. It's a very good time.
That's 100th off of Mikau. Wow. That's 100th separating Mikau and Domi right now on the dot. Impulse in the Mercedes, not actively flying. He ran a 119.5, his best here so far. Gazieg in the Haas now coming down the straight into Parabolica, up nearly 4/10 on his lap.
A lot of steering along through Parabolica, more than you probably need. Probably indicating a lack of confidence in your setup in the way the car's handling.
Ruben has had a big issue coming out of the second chicane. And there goes the Renault, and the front left tire is hanging by a thread.
I forgot to mention that chicane as well. If you just get a little bit out of shape out of turn 5, take too much curb or take too much of that gravel on the outside, it's very easy just to lose the car. So if you get too greedy with it, you can lose it, and I suspect that's probably lost on the gravel, just considering how far up the road he is from the apex of turn 5.
Alex Biddo in the McLaren flew by him. Now he's on his way into Ascari. Looking to improve on a lap here. He's currently improving as he makes his way into the final sector. Very clean on the exit of Ascari there.
He had a great sector 2. He was up by a 10th on his time, I believe. He has an earlier turn in than most, but each their own. Got a drive to... Oh, he's just pulling in, that's why.
Yeah, so he's just done with it. Meanwhile, Impulse isn't, but maybe he is. He jumps onto the curb there. A big slide out from the Mercedes, and he has to watch the traffic come by. He's not going to be thrilled about that at all.
Be careful of this car. Yep. In both cars, actually. That's Potsy. No, it's not. Yeah, it's Potsy and Mikau. Let's say Red Panda, but Red Panda's just starting a lap now.
Revo's on a flyer as well, looking to improve, as is Ben the Bear about to begin. He's headed through out of Parabolica.
Taking a good line from the start-finish line all the way to turn 1. You're looking for about 110 meters braking, hard braking. You're going to take a lot of the inside curve for turn 1 and just kiss the turn 2 curb. There you go, lovely. Get on the throttle, fight it. You might want a short shift, but I'm pretty sure he's on pad, so you can get away with it a little. Keep it tight on the inside of the not the Parabolica, Curva Grande. Just take it easy. Just before 100 meters, brake a lot of the curb. Try not to get too greedy on this inside curb. That's a very good job, I'll tell you that much. Take it later apex, because this corner kind of pokes out of you, the first Lesmo, and you got the second Lesmo. Geez, that's very nice, very neat. Don't think he left much time on the table there. So see how his sector split comes up. It's very good. Take the first, the Scari very well. Bit of sliding in the turn 9. It's not ideal, scrub off a bit of time, but not a lot of time. It's Wind your way down to the Parabolica. Early turn in for him. Allow that setup to unwind. Get the car back over to the right for a short run. And
Well,
17.9, so he's still half a second off Revo.
very good time from him. Revo now. Not entirely sure if he's still flying here. He's got that low fuel light on, but he's coming through that second Lesmo, and he is carrying a ton of speed here. Battery in deployment.
He's got that confidence and control over the car. He's only just up though. Set it down and then he's just cut it. Trying to find all the time in the world. His setup looks extremely twitchy on the rear end, so I'm interested to see how that's going to play out in the race with high fuel loads and especially heavy tyre wear. Because Nigel's lost it at the exit of Ascari. It's a big one. He's just, yeah. That's the inside curve I'm talking about. Inside of turn 10 of Ascari, just clipped that too much and he just unsettled the rear end of the car, trying to light it up.
Zaino tempting fate there, almost went straight into the Williams. Not entirely sure what the idea was there. Maybe he thought it was a car giving him a slipstream, but he was quite tight to that car as he made his way by here. Of course, the top three here, it is looking like, with nobody else setting the times, it's going to be Revo on pole position, Ben the Bear in the front row, with Nigel rounding out your top three here ahead of round 5.
Look at those times from Potsy to Bitto. This is healthy, just 1.5 tenths in that. Got Panda to Pepsi, tenth in that. Combined to Impulse, 2 tenths in that. You're going to get some decent packs forming up here in the race.
Yeah, Freeware Ruben, 2 quick drivers not in that mix either on the timing tower. 3 drivers not getting times in.
Work cut out for them.
That's a very, very fast lap time. That's probably among some of the quickest lap times I've seen around Monza. Of course, fantastic for him to do that. That is Revo on pole position, Ben the Bear in second position, lining up next to him on the front row, and we have Nigel rounding out your top 3 with Potsy in 4th. That's Big Al in 5th, Mikau in 6th here, Domi in 7th, Bitto in 8th, Panda with the 9th position slot here for the other Red Bull, and T-Mac rounding out the top 10 in the Williams. We are going to go down through the rest of this grid formation. "18 minutes of qualifying has finished. We are here. It is time for round 5 of the Oceanic Division. It is the Italian Grand Prix. Of course, my name, hailing from the Great White North of Canada, is Simon Strifium Raymond. Joining me is Seb from the land down under. And we have 20 seconds ticking down now as these drivers finalize their setups, their fuel loads, their tire strategies ahead of this fantastic Italian Grand Prix. Things are quite tight in this grid. We have DRS playing a role. We have the Parabolica, we have the Curva Grande, we have all the iconic turns you could think of around here, and a heck of a lot of speed with equal cars on display. So it's going to be a lot of fun watching the racing.
A lot of fun indeed. Expect a lot of fighting from turn 1 all the way to turn 5, the start of sector 2. Also, you could see some instances of people try to get greedy at Ascari when overtaking someone else. But yeah, I'm very interested to see how these guys take turn 1, lap 1. Cautious going to be, how aggressive they're going to be, if anyone's going to lose their wing on someone, if someone's going to dare go 3 or 4 wide into turn 1. It'll be interesting indeed.
Of course, if you're tuning in, help us out. Share that stream, tell your friends, tell the fam that we have racing action happening here now. Of course, taking a look at this grid once again, we have Revo, Ben the Bear, Nigel, your top 3, Potsy in the mix, as well as Big Al, Mikau, Domi, Bitto, Panda, and T-Mac for your top 10. Apollo in 11th position, combined in 12th. That's Maz in 13th with Impulse in the other Mercedes in 14th position. Here we have Yukio, Ghazi, Zaino, Ruben, Freeware, and Trin with us as well. And all of these drivers except one in the back 10 on harder compound tires. We have combined on softs in 12th, Yukio in 15th on the hards. Everybody else in between to 11th position there is on the mediums here, Seb.
This is a relatively comfortable soft to medium, so I'm interested to see how Yukio goes on the hards. I'd like to know why he's gone onto the hards as well. It's just by combines first to go on the softs. I thought it would have been a smart idea to start on the mediums. Just try and go long and risk it for some points. You've got to be relatively aggressive around here to get some points, considering you have these massive DRS trains. You also need to keep it clean around here, because as I said, these DRS trains are just going to bring people along. If you make one mistake, you're going to drop back about 5 seconds, and then you're just behind all of the pack. So let's get this going, shall we?
Well, all drivers now approaching the grid. The AI doing a nice job, hopefully. Not in Freeware's case, but in this case, getting the drivers set up on the grid. Sorry, Freeware had to. Of course, Revo, Ben, and Nigel, your top three here as the final car of Trin gets things lined up. We are going to have lights out in just a moment's time. Car is revving. Lights are coming on here in Italy. 4 or 5 red lights now for the racers. The lights have gone out. We are away racing. Revo off the line, and it's a great start for the Red Bull. That's Mikau into 4th position already. He's already in with a battle with Potsy as we make our way down into turn 1, and there's just a massive exchange of cars here in the front. Not too much debris coming off, which is what you like to see. But there's a car around. Domi has been caught up in some kind of incident. He is backed out, letting drivers through. That is a yellow flag popping up in Sector 1. Meanwhile, Nigel has dropped off the pack massively. Mikau's hunting down Potsy, and there goes the safety car here on the opening turn.
That was quick. I believe it was Big Al, Nigel, and Domi who just all got tangled up on the exit of turn 1, all going 3 wide. It's a very interesting choice by whoever made that 3 wide, I'll say that much. It's not a place where you can go with that many cars into it. You can barely fit 2 cars into it, so 3 wide is very tight. There's a note on Potsy. He got a terrible start. Nigel, my bad. Nigel got a terrible start. And Mikau got an absolutely brilliant start.
Mikau, yeah, Mikau up 2. Nigel down 2. We got Panda up 3. Big Al's down 2. Everybody else in between from 8th down to 12th has moved up a position or 2, or even 3 in some cases. We have Alex Bitto. He's dropped off 5 positions. Freeware's up 5, so he's had a good start given how his qualifying ended. Ghazi up 1, Trin up 4. Domi has dropped 10 positions to where he is currently sitting. Of course, Maz, Zaino, and Ruben all losing positions as well. And Zaino has just been plagued with connectivity issues this entire season. Not entirely sure what's going on over there, but you hate to see it. I don't know if it's network or if it's game. Panda's come into the pit lane now. He's going to get the wing changed over. He's going to get onto some medium compound tires now. That's going to be a Ferrari coming in behind him in Maz. Trin, actually.
6 cars in the pits.
I don't even know what's going on right now on the grid because the timing tower just says, I don't want to operate today. It's very, very rare that the timing tower actually wants to operate, for those in the chat.
Well, it should start semi-working in about
6 laps?
40 seconds. 40 seconds when we get everyone going through Sector 1.
Yeah, when all the overtaking is all done and dusted, that's when we'll get our timing tower back. Well, this is a very interesting scenario now, because all of these drivers on the fresh rubber are going to catch up to these drivers.
It's just interesting to know what tires we've gone. I think Moz's might be aiming for the 1 stop, but I'm not sure how viable that is from the hards at the start of the race, but it still could be possible. Trin and Gauzier and Trin both on the soft, so they're just going to play it out like as if they were starting normally. Same with Yukio, Domi, and Red Panda, except they're on the mediums. So
Well, while we're under safety car here, I'm going to give a completely innocent plug to Beyond the Grid. And I'll tell you why. Because the latest episode of Beyond the Grid, and if you haven't heard the podcast, I personally enjoy the heck out of it. But the most recent episode of Beyond the Grid was speaking with none other than the safety car driver for the last 20 years, Bernd Maylander. And it was one heck of a podcast, man. That guy has got some stories about driving the safety car. So check it out, as we are under safety car conditions. I imagine if you were to ask the guy how many times he had to drive safety car in Monza, he'd probably say he hasn't not driven the safety car around Monza.
considering, I'm pretty sure they do. I think they do like practice runs in them, don't they? In the safety car, where he gets to do it.
They do, yeah. They do.
Oh, is that someone spinning?
That is somebody spinning. That is somebody spinning.
Revo.
And that's Revo. With a massive amount of damage on the front left.
Wow.
Well, that's a massive upset if I've ever seen one. Nigel's been told to concede the position.
Yeah, you had to, because...
Mikkel took a penalty as well.
Wow. It was causing mayhem for a lot of people who overtook Revo when the game might have deemed him as going fast enough to, I guess, not be...
Well, that's a massive development, because now the safety car is coming in. Revo is going to have to get that wing changed over. Ben the Bear is now in the lead of this race as a result, and I have no idea what happened, causing Revo to perhaps spin out like that. But...
I just wonder if he's dropped that on throttle or he's hit that big black and yellow sausage curve on the inside of 5. Very odd. Yeah,
this has certainly made things difficult for him in this situation now, because he's going to have to get that wing changed over. He needs to make a judgment call on what tires to jump on here. I have a feeling it might be hards, but that's a big gamble. Ben the Bear is away. Potsy struggling to hold on to him, and this is going to be Revo straight into the pit lane now, putting Mikkel into 3rd position, and that's already going to be Apollo getting a front row seat. We're going to have to jump up even further, because this action's about to go down as Big Al hunting down Nigel, and there's a ton of great exits out of this grid right now. Alex Bido raking to the inside, looking at Impulse now around the outside of turn 1. Is he going to get the move done? Yes, he does, and he just blew straight by that Mercedes.
Hey, Striff, put that to music. Oh, that was a sick move. Just looked like he was going to go to the inside. The Impulse defender, he just decided to completely do the switchback on him. I was about to say outbrake. He didn't outbrake him. He did a switchback on him. Got Impulse in 2 minds. Made him make that mistake, and then just around the outside of the turn 2. That's brilliant. And this is opening up for Ben the Bear. Revo spinning, opening up for Ben the Bear in the championship, who is, I'll say, who has had the second hand to Revo throughout all these 4 rounds.
Ribbon on the rear of Zaino's had an end plate fly off. Panda almost went in the rear of him here, and Domi's lost a position to Yukio as a result, and the Ferrari of Trin is breathing down both their necks as we move down into Ascari. It's the Ferrari here around home that I imagine wants to inherit some major positions. There's cars off through Ascari. There's a major collision. Yukio's gone around. The Ferrari gets it turned down in the engine. He gets the brake slammed, and oh my god, how did he avoid that McLaren coming through the Ascari chicane? Looks like there was a chain of events causing that one, and all those drivers getting impatient through the Ascari chicane now. Whoa.
Hey, people getting greedy in Ascari. There's bound to be an incident happening there. If you do
T-Mac and Apollo. Sorry to interrupt you there, Seb. Wheel to wheel coming through turn 1 right now. Apollo with a little bit of a tap on T-Mac. This is going to open the door for Combine now with a fantastic exit. Is he going to have enough traction to dispatch the Williams here? The Williams holding on to Apollo in front. Very intense racing we're seeing here on this safety car restart.
Well, T-Mac's made a mistake, and this is allowed Combine through now. Opportunistic move from Combine as now Bido's breathing all over the back of T-Mac.
Alex Bido, who we saw dispatch the Mercedes through turns 1 and 2 last lap around, is on the hunt. He's got a really large train ahead of him here in Apollo, Combine, and T-Mac. He's rubbing his hands together. He's also on these softs. Apollo on the mediums, which has him in a very good position.
was just about to mention that it's crazy that Apollo's on the mediums and he's in front of all these guys. If he can hold on to this for the next just 3 laps or something while DRS is getting enabled, that would be awesome for him in terms of the future of this race and how it develops for him. Vito now could very well get T-Mac, but he's thought better of it, turned off overtaking, just waits. As Red Panda pits again.
Alex Bitto's tapped T-Mac through turn 1. He's gone into the rear of him. He's lost the front left end plate, and now that's going to open up the door for freeware.
T-Mac's nearly lost it trying to rejoin the track. He's nearly lost it again. touchy stuff. There's been some good driving, and there's been some very...
Yeah, and I don't believe Zaino is going to be able to continue racing. So we're going to have to stop getting invites sent for that, because the connection desync is too much for him. I think that's completely desyncing the timing tower, and as much as I hate to say it, we'll have to see if he gets back in, but the connection is not on his side today at all. Mikal is hunting down Potsy for P2. Ben the Bear leading this race by a margin.
Healthy margin as well. He can just control from here. He doesn't really need to worry about Revo at the moment. He's a good while off him.
Finally getting those intervals updated for the next 30 seconds at the very least. It's less than half a second between Mika and Potsy. Is he going to have the move? Potsy with the defense into turn 1 right now. They have the Williams of Nigel and, of course, the Haas of Big Al behind them. And there goes Combined and Apollo having an exchange right now. Apollo holding on to 6th position, but he's had a massive issue. Oh, and that's a retirement.
This could be a good opportunity for some pitting now if anyone wants to do it. He could pit early, maybe go into the hards.
I don't think anyone's going to get that opportunity.
Yeah, it could be just too far away from the pits. I was about to compliment Pepsi on a good defensive job, making Combined have to back out of turn 1, but, well, he just lost it on throttle out of 2, getting a bit too greedy, asking too much of those rear medium tyres.
DSC conditions, one thing to talk about is the fact that Ben the Bear is currently 5 seconds away from Potsy. Meanwhile, Revo's in 17th position, having to cut through this field. We'll have to jump on board with him in a moment's time as we go back to green flag conditions in just a second here. Mikal is right on the rear of Potsy, waiting for that safety car, the VSC, to come offline here. We have green flag racing as we make our way through Parabolica.
Look at that timing. He's got him easy now. No way Potsy can defend from this. He's going to have to let him by. Just try and go damage limitation to the car behind of Nigel.
Clean move there for Mikal, taking advantage of that VSC, keeping the delta as tight as can be there. Nigel defending against Big Al at the moment. Combined has Freeware on his rear. Freeware on the medium compound tires.
He's had a very solid start to his race. Start all the way to the back. He's just slowly clawed his way back up the field.
Mikal and Potsy have had a bit of a tangle as Nigel's caught them up massively.
Who is that joining there?
I think that's Lozzie peeking in to see what's going on. I'm not entirely sure how that's the case. I think Mikal may have left it on friends only.
Oh, Nigel. Getting a bit out of shape out of Ascari out of turn 10. That's that inside curve just unsettling the car. It's really the same thing, just a little same thing with Combined. As we've had an incident now with Ruben out of Ascari.
Potsy, Mikal in a fight for this podium position right now. Mikal and Potsy wheel to wheel coming down into turn 1. That's Mikal on the inside. Is Potsy going to have that inside line on the switch through? Yes, he is, but is it going to be enough for the exit? Nigel has the front row seat right now as Mikal's holding through on the inside. Potsy very tight to that gearbox coming through Curva Grande now. Nigel's having a look at the outside Potsy looks at Mikkel on the inside. There goes Nigel. He's very tight. He definitely compromises Potsy's entry through the second chicane here. But Mikkel is having to defend very hard here. Nigel can't do much about this.
Robust defending from Mick. I just went a little bit deep into turn one. I think Potsy have to kind of back out of the corner and not get as good of a fight into turn two and make him have to pull out of turn two at the end of the day. But they're going to have another round into lap 10. Potsy's all over the back of Mikkel.
Yeah, this fighting is costing them time to the leader. And Revo is currently in 14th position, cutting through drivers as we will be looking in on him in a moment. 2.4 seconds the current gap to P13 for him.
Big Al's just also kind of sitting at the back of this little train we have going on. Just quietly watching these three go at it. Potsy down the inside now.
Mikkel is going to have the inside through turn two. How's the exit going to go? We've seen this before. Mikkel not going to have nearly as much traction on the exit, coming on the inside. Potsy a little bit more space to work with perhaps, but it's Potsy now leading through Curva Grande. Mikkel, less than a tenth is the gap. He looks to the inside now. He holds back. Nigel right on the rear of the Red Bull, not giving these guys a lot of maneuverability here. If any of them make a mistake, somebody will be inheriting a position and losing quite a few.
Indeed, indeed. Mikkel probably should have defended the inside because of turn one, because what that allows you to do is have the outside of turn two, which allows you a bit of a slingshot through the Curva Grande.
Take a second to take a look here as it's Mikkel tight to the rear of Potsy. Coming through Ascari. Big shout out to Lozzie. Where's Lozzie in the chat? Thank you very much for the raid of 20. Welcome, welcome everybody in from the stream. Of course, we're here for some Italian Grand Prix action. Nigel has Big Al up his gearbox. Nigel looking at Mikkel's rear wing, and Mikkel wants to hunt down Potsy for P2 right now. Ben the Bear leading your race in the pink racing point.
I just called it. He just had a bit of a out of the corner, so that kind of ruined his run. Here we go again with Mikkel and Potsy.
These two have been doing the dance all race long, it would seem now, as they've gone for at the very least the last 3 laps, exchanging coming out of turn one. Potsy on the rear now of the Red Bull, with Big Al barking up the rear of these two. He's got a good carry of speed in that Ferrari-powered Haas. Does he look to the inside? No, he gets on the rear of these two. No heroics into the second chicane just yet for him.
He probably has a bit of a spin out of turn two. I could have been in contact with Trin or just drive her up.
What a train we have in this grid at the moment. Revo is into 11th position. I have to say, I haven't seen him do too much over. I think drivers have been pitting kind of, and he's been, you know, able to net some positions, but I haven't seen any major overtakes from him on circuit yet. But we've been focused in on this battle for the lead, or should I say for the podiums. Wheel to wheel coming down into Parabolic, and now the AlphaTauri on the inside of the Red Bull. That's Mikkel in third.
Mikkel will have DRS as Potsy's going to pit. They're all going to pit. Ooh, be careful. Don't run into each other. Just about to say, Nigel's been in clear air, so he gets a 3-second time penalty. So it'll be interesting to see where he comes out in comparison to these three. As they
Mikkel's sitting a penalty. Emac, I don't believe, or excuse me, Potsy, I don't believe served a penalty there. Big Al's overtaken Revo in the pit lane. Or not Revo,
Nigel,
excuse me, Mikkel.
Nigel could get Potsy here as well. Potsy's just gotten out in front. So,
well, Mikkel's got Moz ahead of him. He's come out massively behind this traffic.
yeah, I reckon this provisionally he'll stay where he was, or he'll be behind that pack now for the rest of the race unless there's a safety car. It's almost impossible to catch up with the DRS trains you get here. Meanwhile, Ben the Bear just doing the right thing. He's just playing the long game, trying to keep out of traffic. No need to pit right now. You have a big lead, you just hold on to that. And keep free of any incidents. Freeware's now on the back of Impulse.
How on earth is Freeware? Who's on the... Oh, Revo. Dude, I thought you said Freeware was on the back of Impulse. I was like, how on earth is that even possible? But I'm just mishearing you here as, yes, of course, it is the Alfa Romeo with a slide through not Ascari, the Parabolica. Good catch from him.
Yeah, he's just trying to get this move done as fast as possible. Impulse is not going to put that up too much of a fight. There's Ben the Bear up the road, just in front of Revo.
Well, big lockups from Revo and Impulse into turn 1 there.
Revo's got a lot of work
Wheel
to
to
do.
wheel behind them. That's Potsy. Sorry there. Nigel and Potsy having a massive battle as Nigel wants to take that 7th position from him.
Wise to back out. It's very nice watching Nigel drive, I'll say that much. He doesn't turn the wheel, it just lets the car and the setup do all the work for him.
Big Al not too far behind Nigel. Within that DRS for the time being, Mikal has caught up with Maz. Take a look in there in a moment. Ben the Bear at the moment is hunting down the drivers ahead. Trin in third. I imagine Trin would come in.
Yeah, I think so. He might go an extra lap and just pit again for the softs possibly. We have another spin at Ascari. I believe that's Gauzy Egg. Meanwhile, we have another train forming up.
Mikal has dispatched Maz for P10. Impulse.
I do need to clear Impulse as quickly as possible as he runs to the back of him. I wonder if he damage. It doesn't look like he does visually.
That was
now
a
Impulse.
big lockup there.
Just allowed Big R through. Now Big R's got to run on Nigel. Can he go around the outside of Curva Grande? Get a bit of a run into turn 4 and 5 chicane. He's going to have to back out. Nigel just has that better straight line speed. Probably using a bit more overtake than Big Out.
Now, if you're in the chat joining us, I am sorry to say we are experiencing a little bit of net loss at the moment. Hopefully things are still a little bit bearable on stream. If not, we are going to have to drop it. Let us know in the chat, but we will, of course, have the recorded remainder. And there goes Impulse on the exit of the second Lesmo. And that seems to be the area where he's been struggling throughout quali and now the race. That car, I have no idea what's happened there with his car because it's completely stationary. Waiting for traffic. I think he's still in this. He's still in this, but there's no safety car. The entire front left of that car has been destroyed. Of course, we'll have to make sure that Impulse gets into the pit lane okay here.
We could have a run on Potsy into the Della Roggia. Potsy's getting a bit shaky out of turn 2.
Oh, and there goes Gauzy through the Ascari chicane, and he's crashed it massively. We were on board looking to make sure Impulse made it into the pit lane okay. And Gauzy had other plans in Ascari. He's gone straight through the wall. We'll have to see if that sparks a flag.
I think getting yellow flags at the moment, surprisingly. I wonder if we'll have to wait till the elimination session or something like that. Freeway gets a 3-second time penalty. Why this all happened, I think I saw combined lose positions to Beto and T-Mac. I think he had an incident at turn 1 and 2.
Here goes Nigel. Looking at Potsy. On the inside through Parabolica now.
It's a brave move. This is some good fighting between the two. Very brave to fight into Parabolica as Trin pits. Here we go, drag race to turn 1. Here we go. Nigel just takes turn 1. Put that DRS in as you like. Potsy just struggling for that ERS management. That's 15% by the end of the straight. Impulse is still struggling through the Parabolica. He wants his race to end ASAP, I'd reckon. And while all this fighting happens, Mikhail's just slowly gaining on the pack. Took about 10th out of them just in turns 4 and 5 at Della Roggia chicane. The Impulse retires in the bits. And Freeway retires at Ascari.
Oh no.
We have
DSC
another
deployed.
Ascari Vic. This is a perfect chance of Revo to pit now if he wants it. He probably will. I suspect he would. Same with Domi as well. Yeah, once again, another victim of the Ascari chicane. Such a hard corner to get right turn 10, so this right here is just playing into Domi and Revo's hand. The two Alfa Romeo drivers are getting the pit easy. Revo might get held up a little because of the Domi pit.
Yeah, unfortunately we are having a bit of a connection error. There's nothing that can be done about this, but something we can do about is look at Alex Bitto as Maz cooks it out of turn 2. And he's gone around losing positions, and the hard compound tires are betraying him now.
All hard compound runners are outside of the top 10. Obviously there's some due to incidents, but the hards are not a great tyre for this track, considering especially for Ascari when you have high loads you need that extra grip that the mediums provide. So as I was saying before, Mikau was slowly gaining on that train of 3 from Nigel Pozzi and Big Al, and now he's within DRS range of Big Al. So things are about to get interesting again here in a fight for P2. Pozzi with the DRS on Nigel now, just looking around the outside. Nigel doesn't have much defense. He could try and outbrake Pozzi though, but he decides to form behind him instead, not lose too much time. To say this, Domi behind on the softs. It's a good chance for him as they fight to gain time, and he takes 2 tenths out of them in the space of one corner.
Okay, a minute ahead of Big Al.
Just Big Al had a moment out of turn 2, that's the only thing I could think of. So I reckon Bitto going at it as well. Finding a way through it. Pozzi and Nigel once again. It's an interesting spot to overtake for Nigel because he's just going to lose DRS. Pozzi's going to get by again easy on DRS here down the main pit straight. This is like Mikhail's going to join the party soon if these guys keep fighting the way they are.
Yeah, it's definitely being costly. And the Bear is 11 seconds ahead.
Domi's taken a second and a half out of these, at least 3, as they, so 4 as they still squabble about. We could have another switcheroo, another fight. Another lap, another fight. Here we go. Nigel at the inside. Pozzi's going to have to give way into the Della Roggia chicane. And Nigel gets a position back from Pozzi.
Yeah, I can't see anything. Because unfortunately, my controller disconnected and blinded all of us.
Try and keep the play-by-play going as Revo is now over the back of T-Mac. He's got this move done easy. We'll be on to Bitto next, who's just up on the road on 7-lap older mediums.
22.8 seconds for Revo to make up on the leader here. It's going to be quite the climb.
it's not going to happen, but there could be a decent chance he could get P6 here. I reckon if 2 to 6 start fighting a lot, he's got a very good chance, I reckon. When the bear picks on the 3-7 time penalty, this has been the perfect race for him. Championship-wise, this brings him back into the hunt after a couple of unlucky races. Austria especially, where he had that unlucky finish at Britain, but due to time desync, he was able to get P2 back. Pozzi and Nigel back at it again. They're going to have another go at it into the Della Roja chicane. Pozzi on the inside. Will Nigel have to back out? Yes, he will. Michael's just sitting there hoping for something to happen and go his way.
Meanwhile, Alex Bido and T-Mac will wheel through Curva Grande, tired of looking at Pozzi and Nigel for the time being. We have some other action happening down into the second chicane right now. A little bit of contact. There goes T-Mac with a slide. And it just looks like these guys are going too wide in some turns where they shouldn't be. And he's come out onto the gravel now. He's lost some positions as a result. Mikau now heading down behind Nigel into Ascari. Nigel hunting down Pozzi. Still here.
Oh, no. Oh, my bad. I thought
That's Zaino.
Zaino.
Oh, man. That could have been Ben, though, considering they're following him. But
yeah. My goodness. That, I nearly jumped off my seat then. Just noting that T-Mac and Bido thing. T-Mac was, I think, trying to back out, but didn't back out fast enough. Was Bido's corner. You know, Bido could have left a little bit more room. Pozzi's now just swerving, trying to break Nigel's DRS. We're going to have another switch now. Into turn 1. Who's going to yield? None of them are. This is going to allow Mikau into it. Mikau's got a great run on Nigel because he got too much on the curve on the inside of turn 2. But Nigel's got that straight line speed on him due to the overtake button. He could have a run on Pozzi as well. He's going to have to back out though. Meanwhile, Domi and Revo slowly catching the pack. Domi now within DRS range. This is working out greatly for him. Big Al once again just sitting at the back of this pack and just waiting for something to happen. Mikhail has 70% ERS as well. Meanwhile, most of these guys have 30%. Domi has 70% as well. And he's right all over the back of Big Al. This could be an opportunistic move for Domi. If he can get this done, he's in for real good shape at P2 now. And he has it done easy as you like. Bread and butter type of stuff.
yeah, that was really neat from him.
Only having troubles on the exit of the Della Roja. And look at this train. We go for a move on Mikhail. Oh, it's wise not to. No need to risk it. He's got all the tyre grip in the world on these guys. And these 5 and 6 lap pressure soft compared to the mediums. Just wait for the time. He's got 6 laps to do this. He can easily do it. It's Nigel and Pozzi going at it again.
Yeah, these guys are all in big trouble here.
Yeah, they all have little ERS. Mikhail's the only one I could think who might be able to put up a decent fight to Domi, but he needs to start using that ERS if he wants a chance at it. Wants a chance at P2.
There goes Mikau out of the second Lesmo into the wall. That's going to cause him some damage.
And now Revo, oh, like I said before, he's a good chance with P6. Definitely is now. Mikau might have got a bit of damage out of the second Lesmo. He's definitely done some damage to the ego right there and done some damage to his rhythm. Domi all
Laino's retired out of the Ascari chicane.
I think that's an AI retirement.
It was.
Car's still moving. Here comes Domi though. Nevertheless, Nigel has no ERS, same thing with Pozzi. And Domi's now going to get squeezed in between the two. Nigel, could he go around the inside of, outside of Pozzi? Pozzi cuts that off into turn 2. But here comes Domi around the outside of Nigel out of turn 2. Look at the acceleration.
That was very, very, very good exit from Domi there around the outside of Nigel.
Superior target around the outside. Had all the confidence in the world. Had the cojones to do it. Because yeah, Nigel's starting to, like his rear ends are starting to lose it a bit out of the corners, especially at a Lesmo 1 from the looks of it. Riva just slowly taking time out of Mikau, who was kind of caught up to these four fighting cars. Big Al once again just sitting at the back, just eyeing off something. As Domi's just going to be patient here, sit behind Potsy. Smart move, no need to fight for this. He's going to go for a move down the inside. Like Potsy has to give him all the respect in the world. A bit optimistic from Domi. I didn't think he needed to do that, but doesn't matter. He has the DRS, he has the ERS, and he has Potsy in his sights. Round the outside, down to turn 1 chicane. It's easy as you like. Textbook stuff. Can Nigel get in the action now? Very deep. He's made contact with Potsy.
I don't know about
This is going to
that.
allow Big A in there.
I don't know about the damage there. I think that might have just been a straight lockup through the turn. I don't think there was any contact.
I wonder if that's just a bit of decent, to be honest with you, because it didn't look like he hit him, but he could have hit his car's hitbox, not exactly his car though. Interesting enough, this allowed Mikau back into it, and Riva is taking out 5/10 of these guys once again. Era could be on for more than P6 here, I reckon. Just judging from the way Mikau's able to catch up to these guys, I reckon he's a bit frustrated. It looks like he has the pace to get in front of these guys, but that 5-second penalty he got from what was unfortunate when Riva spun under the safety car seems to cost him a bit. Potsy gets a 3-second time penalty. That's going to affect him.
Hello there, everyone. My name is Strifium, and thank you so much for watching. Unfortunately, that is it for this recording. This is all we were able to get. We had some technical issues that prevented us from getting the final 2 laps, but I can tell you that it was Ben the Bear with the win, Mikau in second position, and Revo to round out the top 3 on that podium after penalties were all said and done. Thank you so much for watching.